What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I would love if you would subscribe down below. I upload every other day and I'd love to have you as a part of my channel. I just want to get to a point where I can actually talk about a lot of different things about my life that I normally wouldn't post on the internet. One of those things includes talking about politics. I asked on Instagram for questions for a deeper Q&A. I got actually a few questions about talking about what's going on at Liberty right now. Since I have been going to Liberty, this is going to be my senior year next year, which is so crazy to even say. The main question that I'm basing this video off of is, what is the political atmosphere at Liberty and how is it perceived? Liberty's kind of been blasted lately on the news. I have been doing Liberty videos for 3 years. I've been avoiding political questions like the plague. Open-mindedness doesn't mean that you are liberal. I think that open-mindedness means that you are just willing to listen to somebody and what they have to say, and I think that a lot of people kind of shut down whenever they hear other people's political views, and a lot of people just shut down whenever they say, oh, they're conservative, so I'm not going to listen to what they have to say, or they're liberal, so I'm not going to listen to what they have to say. I think that closes off a lot of really awesome conversations, and I've had so many amazing conversations with people in my life just by asking deeper questions. I think people are so much more than Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal. I think that people are so much deeper than that. And I'm also going to try to phrase things that I say as respectfully as possible. Let's get into this video. I'm going to start off by talking about my experience with Liberty and the 3 years that I've been at Liberty, what's been my experience with as far as politics goes. I love Liberty so much. For me, Liberty has been really whenever I walk around campus, it's my family, it's my home. It's become so much more to me than I think I was ever anticipating it becoming. I've been on a lot of college campuses before. My friends that aren't from Liberty come to Liberty and say the same thing, that there's just genuinely nothing like the community and the atmosphere at Liberty. It doesn't matter if you are into music, if you're a math nerd, if you're a cheerleader, if you've been there long enough, you're gonna have your community at Liberty and you're gonna be walking around campus and say hi to a bunch of people. It's just genuinely a community. It breaks my heart to see people kind of write off Liberty because they just see the conservative and the politics. That really discredits a lot of us that are genuinely people that are wanting to love on other people, but that kind of discredits us because it makes all of us look kind of judgmental. And for those of you guys that don't know and are just clicking on this because it's talking about Liberty, so we have convocations. It used to be 3 times a week and now it's twice a week on Wednesdays and Fridays. Our convocations are typically, they're just any kind of speaker. We have had Steph Curry, we've had Carson Wentz, all different kinds of pastors, because it is a Christian evangelical university. A lot of Christian singers come, like Tasha Cobbs. If you look it up, you'll find a lot. There's been a lot of different speakers that have come that have been so amazing to watch. It's just been the coolest experience. But we have a lot of political convocations. Donald Trump's come, Bernie Sanders has come, and a lot of people a lot of people from Liberty like to use that as well, we do have Democrats come, Bernie Sanders came. They did invite Clinton to come speak too. It was near the election of 2016. They were asking all the candidates to come and she said no, but there's just very few representatives of that side of the political spectrum. A politician every now and again, if a president wants to come every now and again, whatever, that's fine. My problem stems from the fact that those of us that come to Liberty, I would say a vast majority come for the Christian element and not the conservative element. I would go as far as to say the vast majority. I think my favorite part about Liberty is not that it's all conservatives. I think that my favorite part is that it's mostly Christian. The community that we get, the fellowship that we get, just the overall atmosphere is just amazing. This is my own personal view. If you grew up in public school or private schools, whatever, and had different views, or even just in general, where you're somewhere where there's a lot of different people. You come into Liberty for 4 years, maybe even more to get your master's. You come, you get refreshed, you get trained on how to kind of stand firm in your faith whenever you go into your profession, and then you go, and then that's that. It's not for people to go bubble to bubble to bubble, because that is such a toxic mindset in Christianity. I think that whenever people, oh, well, I'm in my little Christian huddle, I go to my Christian school, and I go to my Christian life groups, and I go to my Christian university, and then I go to my Christian profession, I think that it's very toxic because I think it doesn't put you in environments where your beliefs are challenged in any way. I think that a Christian can't truly be a follower of Jesus until they've come to that point where it doesn't matter if they've grown up with it or if they haven't, whatever, unless you come to that point where you're like, okay, these are the things that are going to get thrown my way, and these are the arguments against Christianity. Let me dig into it. Let me figure out what I actually believe, and then I'll move forward. I respect people more whenever they actually look into what they believe rather than just believing whatever somebody tells them. And I had to do that too. Like, my high school was very liberal. I did question, I did leave the faith for a while, and then after I kind of was like, okay, what actually makes sense? I'm gonna actually dig into this, I'm gonna research this, found my faith that way. I think that a lot of times people can kind of just jump bubble to bubble, and that goes for conservative beliefs as well. Honestly, this is I'm gonna say it's the vast majority of us are very sick of political convocations. It's super draining, and again, I'm just saying what everybody else is saying behind closed doors. Every single time there's a political speaker, unless it's somebody like crazy cool, or that actually has something worthwhile to say, kind of just like, I think in our minds thinking, wow, there's so many better things that I could spend my time doing, because we come to be trained in Christ. We don't come to be trained in conservative beliefs. You should dig into the word. You should see what Jesus has to say, see what the Bible has to say about everything, form your beliefs off of that. Don't just form your beliefs off of what a conservative speaker is saying. You should form your opinions off of what the Bible is saying as a Christian. They started like not announcing convos. As I was saying, there's so many good speakers, like so many. But then convo in my mind is like blurry. Like, I want to say that I love convo, but I almost can't, because my brain is like fuzzy with all the times that I didn't know who the speaker was, and then I walked in and then everybody's like, oh, it's a political speaker, and we're like, oh my gosh. I can't even tell you how many times this happened. Again, it like really hurts my heart that people look at liberty and they're like, oh, they're just a bunch of conservatives, that they're dumb, they just listen to whatever Jerry says, and like whatever the case is, when in all actuality, we're just as fed up with it as other people are. Like, since it's our school and we love it and we understand it, we're more respectful, and we have brought up our concerns. There's only so much that we can do whenever our president has all these connections that he wants to bring in. And I get that whenever you have a platform and you have a university, you're gonna want to use your platform to showcase what you're passionate about, and for Jerry, it just happens to be politics. He wants to bring in all of his conservative friends, and he wants to make Liberty more of a conservative school. But honestly, I think that it is the biggest disservice to Liberty University to make it about politics and not about Christ. If you guys were there and you saw the way that we love each other, you saw the way that we worship together, you saw the way that, oh my gosh, our lead pastor is phenomenal. Like, if you saw the ways that we're being led, if you saw the ways that we're being taught, like, people wouldn't be saying the things that they're saying, but because people see Jerry Falwell said this, and conservative beliefs this. Like, the only things that you see is politics, and so that overshadows everything about the amazing qualities of Liberty, and I think that that's honestly a bummer, and it really is a shame that that's the stigma for a place that so many of us love so much. And it's not to say that we don't see that and we don't agree with that. Like, yes, I'm so sick and tired of having conservatives shoved in my face. I'm sick of it, because I think that as a Christian, and as, I almost don't want to say open-minded, because I think that I am very confident in what I believe, so I'm not like super like oh, please come change my mind. Like, I'm very firm in what I believe, and I'm very confident in what I believe, but I love to hear what other people have to say. I would love to hear your experience in life. I would love to hear kind of what makes you you. I would love to hear like why you are pro-choice, just whatever the case is. Anything that you believe differently than me, I would love to hear it, because I really do genuinely like care about what other people have to say, and care about what makes them them, and care about what led them to believe what they believe. It just really breaks my heart to see that that's kind of what a place that I love so much has kind of been reduced to, because there's so much more that I feel like Liberty has to offer the world, and the thing that everybody sees is being conservative. So the second part of this is talking about what's been happening lately with the media and why Liberty has been blown out of proportion, and what's true and what's not true. So I will say, I'm not there. From day one, I was like, I'm not going back, absolutely not, because I think that is my civil duty if I don't have to go back to not go back. All I do all day is stay in my house, go on walks, get stuff done. The only times that I leave are to go to Dunkin' Donuts and get coffee like once a week. But other than that, I literally don't leave. I don't know. I can't even get on a soapbox about this. I'm so passionate about people staying home, because I just like think that it's just crazy that some people are just living their lives like normal. But as far as Liberty goes, so I looked at my emails again just to make sure that I was getting all this right. A lot of people think that Liberty was just gonna go back to completely normal and just have everything the same as it was, and that is not true. Honestly, there's a lot of things that I don't agree agree with in this. There's some things that I do agree with in this. It started out whenever we were starting spring break. My boyfriend Caleb and I left to go home to his house on March 12th. So that was a Thursday, and all of us were so confused. None of us really knew what was going on. We were kind of like in the dark because other schools were making decisions on closing. So we were waiting for our convocation on Friday morning. The 13th of March was whenever we were supposed to in the morning have a convocation about whether we were going to stay open and what was going to happen with that. So before we even had our convocation about what was going to happen with our school, we turn on the news and there's our president, Jerry Falwell, on Fox News talking about what was going to happen when we had no idea. Like none of the students had any idea what was happening. We were watching the news, we were like, wow, that's interesting. I had no idea that that was going to be a thing. Basically, Jerry was saying, we're not going to shut down. We're not going to be like all these other schools. This is a political scam. This is China making, like, I don't even know. Like, you can go watch it if you want to. And we were all like we were so confused, and all we were asking for was maybe an extended week, because we really had no idea what was going on at the time. But we just wanted a week extension on spring break because we were like, just to be safe. But he wouldn't give us that. 10,000 of us signed a petition. I think it may have been more than that, asking for an extended week of spring break. Over half of our campus residentially signed this petition and said, we don't want to go back, even though on national news he said that we were begging him to go back, which I'm sure somebody said that. For the most part, we were just like, please let us have an extra week. I think it was Monday, March 16th, when we got an email saying that classes were going to be completely moved to an online format. In addition to telling us that classes were going to be moved to an online format, they also told us that if you wanted to come back, they said they recommended that we don't come back, but if we wanted to, that we can. So that was on Monday. So basically it was saying that if you are a certain major, I think there's only 2 that were, I don't even know if it was required to come back. I'm sure that you didn't have to if you really, really didn't want to. But it was aviation and I think performing arts based maybe, and maybe some science labs. But all my friends that have biolab, biomed, or nursing, I've talked to a lot of them and they said that they don't have to go back. So I'm guessing it's just like a couple science labs. I'm not even sure. You know, aviation can't do their major online, and for the most part they're isolated. They were staying on campus, but other than that, majority of us, like the vast majority, were completely moved to an online format. The very next day, March 17th, we got an email. It was so funny because a couple minutes ago I read it back and it sounded like kind of like an apology letter where they were like, we didn't mean that you can't come back. Like, if you want to come back, come back. Like, we're totally okay with you coming back. Like, feel free, but move your stuff out by next Tuesday if you're not coming back. And I was like so stressed out because I had just left there, but my parents were like, kind of like, we don't want you to leave again. That's ridiculous because we're still paying for everything, whatever. It turns out that that's not even the case. I'm not getting my stuff till the end of the semester or just whenever it's safe, because I'm not going to risk my safety to go to school to get my stuff. We did end up getting an $1,000 refund, not refund, but it like goes towards our next semester. Honestly, like, I'll take it because I would rather have $1,000 than have nothing. Up to that point, there were a few hiccups, but for the most part, I agreed with a lot of their decisions. I think that it's important for you not to just like jump to conclusions and say, oh, well, this is exactly what's happening, so we're gonna cancel school just like everybody else. You know, I wish they would have told us before they went on to Fox News, but at the same time, some of those things were accurate. My main problem with this is that they said that anybody can come back if they wanted to. Because of that, over 1,000 students went back. You know, I'm not sure if there's confirmed cases there. I've heard that there is. I'm not sure if there is. I've heard that people are sick and some people are quarantining. I'm not sure. They didn't do a case-by-case coming back. They didn't say, hey, if you absolutely have to, if your classes cannot possibly be offered online, if you are international and you need a place to stay, like you can't leave, you absolutely need to stay. If you have a situation at home that you absolutely have to stay, then let us know. They said if you want to stay, then stay. Because of that, there's people that are there because they want to see their friends rather than being there because they have to be. They kind of played it off. We'd expect our students to make responsible decisions for themselves, but to a certain extent, you can't leave that up to 18-year-old freshmen that want to see their friends because they're not going to see their friends till August. To a certain extent, you need to say as a university, it would be really irresponsible for you to be here if you absolutely don't have to be, making it a case-by-case basis. Overall, that is the situation right now. This is like to kind of clear the air with everybody that's throwing punches at liberty. Most of us are at our houses quarantined. Most of us are completely online. The people that are at school are the vast minority, and the people that are at school, Oh, another thing I forgot to say. So the school was checked to make sure that it was meeting up to standards for the current situation. So like, for example, food is only takeout. Like whenever you're standing in line, like there's like little tapes where it's like you're 6 feet apart from everybody. You can't be in the library with more than 10 people. There are a lot of measures that are being taken to make sure that everybody's safe, and especially as far as I've heard and seen from everybody's stories and stuff, for the most part they tell you to be self-quarantining in your dorm room. So it's not a situation of like people running all over and like doing whatever. It's really, from what I hear and from what I see, the university at least is requiring their students to, if they are back on campus, to abide by certain guidelines. I hope that this cleared some things up. I hope that you learned something new about Liberty University. I would love if you would subscribe. I upload content about Liberty, but I also upload content like lifestyle content about the Disney College program because I did that last semester. So I upload Disney videos. I just upload like a lot of stuff. So if you want to subscribe, I would love if you did. And I would love if you turn on the bell notification to be notified anytime I post. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.